Today, Tigger and I are going to help you out on knowing when to start your seeds indoors and out. Hi, I'm Derica, and this is Tigger, and today on City Steading, we're talking about seeds. So, if you're a new gardener, or maybe even a seasoned gardener, you may have difficulty trying to figure out exactly when you should start those seeds. I know I did. There were so many conflicting informations about frost dates and where you were in this wild world, but I'm going to try to make that simple for you. First of all, starting seeds indoors is not a necessity. Don't let anybody tell you it is. It's a luxury. The only reason why you really want to start seeds indoors is if you want to get a jump start on the growing season. Starting seeds indoors lets you start before that last frost date so that your plants have grown just enough that when that first frost date is done, boom, you can put them in the ground. So when you're starting those seeds indoors, there's some things you still want to remember regarding your last frost date. You don't want to start them too early because you'll have to force the plants to remain in their containers until that frost date is passed so that they can move outside, and this may stress the plant. It may even hamper its development, which is not going to be helpful because the whole point of starting them early in the first place is to give them a jump start on their development. So don't do that. The way you can figure out when to start your seeds is based on that infamous last frost date. There are multiple guides to help you with this, and I'm going to be sharing some of those with you now. If you are in the United States, you can use this map. It is from NOAA.com. I have the link right there for you. And this is a visual map showing you visually by the different colorations on the map of when the last frost date is here in the United States. You can also purchase the Farmer's Almanac, which has a listing of the major cities and when their last frost dates are. So you just find the major city closest to you, see what its last frost date is, and that's roughly what your last frost date is going to be as well. Also, I know we're an international community, so I didn't forget about those of you outside the United States. Here is a map of the frost dates for the United Kingdom. You can see this is similar to the NOAA map, where it has the different colorations of when the last frost date is. Now, you may notice on some of those maps, there were little boxes or circles, and those were for areas that were too cold to indicate the last frost date or too hot to indicate the last frost date. This is an issue, at least on the hot end for us here in Florida, because even though the map shows we have a last frost date, I honestly don't know when the last time our specific area had a frost date at all. But the last frost date is a guideline. Nature doesn't know these things. It doesn't care what dates put on the calendar. It's going to do what it's going to do. So don't use this as a hard, fast rule, and keep an eye on your weather, because if you put your transplants out after that last frost date has occurred on the calendar and you find out there is a frost date, you're going to want to protect those plants because obviously frost is going to damage them. All right, so there are 3 groups of seeds that you want to pay attention to and reference to your frost date. The first group is here. Bling! These are seeds you're going to want to start 4 to 5 weeks prior to your last frost date. So use one of the handy guides to find out when your last frost date is, mark it on your calendar, and just count backwards 4 to 5 weeks. And you know this is when to start those seeds. These plants tend to be larger plants. They're going to need a lot of energy. Their growth period is longer before they reach maturity, and that's why it's important, if you can, to start them indoors prior to your last frost date. Because you can wait till your last frost date occurs and grow and direct sow them outdoors, but you're going to be restricted to your grow time. Starting them indoors gives you that luxury of extending your grow period. The next group is 2 to 3 weeks. These are your cold vegetables like lettuces and cabbages and broccoli. and they just need to begin their growth habit before you put them outside, because they're going to enjoy the cold environment that occurs right after your frost date ends. So they're not going to be stressed by frost, but they're going to enjoy the coldness of the earth. The last is your direct sow. These tend to be root vegetables. The reason why you direct sow root vegetables is because you're intending to eat their roots. And if you transplant a root vegetable, you have a chance of damaging that root and therefore damaging the product that you want to eat. I have listed them all here for you. Granted, there's way more vegetables than this list, but this gives you a rough idea. Alright, there are 2 vegetables that I know you've noticed in that direct sow list that are not root vegetables. The reason why they're put in this direct sow list is because they are going to want the temperature of the soil, not the environment, but the soil itself, to be above 50 degrees. And that's why we're waiting till that last frost date is all done and everything is good before planting them. That is corn and beans. You notice on the back of your seed packets, most of them will generally say plant so many weeks after your last frost date or after the last frost. This is what they're referring to, this information. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time when we talk about how to start your seeds, now that we've talked about when to start your seeds. Thank you and have a great day. Here, Jason.